Hey folks, welcome back to Keith's Garage. My name is Keith. This is my garage. I'm a big fan of old Mopars and currently working through my engine rebuild here. It was actually a year ago this weekend that I uploaded a video where I pulled that engine. The weather's much better today. I had snow and ice on my driveway when I pulled the engine. And why is it taking me so long to rebuild this darn engine? Well, I like driving my Mopars too. And when spring comes, I just want to drive them. And I took my time and I wanted to learn how to do things properly. So I'm going through all the steps and sharing them. There's an entire playlist around this engine rebuild, from troubleshooting it to measuring it to rebuild, tear down, pulling the engine, rebuilding it, machine shop struggles, all that stuff. Just check out the playlist. So you'll see over here on my left, that's my 1938 Chrysler Royal. That's my premium car. And behind me here, underneath this cloak car cover, is my 1938 Plymouth four-door sedan, P6. And that's what that engine's going in. So in this video, we're gonna go through bottom end reassembly. I get my piston assemblies put together. I connect them and hook them up to the hook them up. I fasten them, I attach them to the connecting rods, put in our rod bearings, install them. We'll go through that together. And I also put a Speedi-Sleeve on my crank pulley, and I'll walk you through that. So these are the next steps, and here we are. This is my garage. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for subscribing. If you like what you see, please hit like and follow me through. All right, I finally got some time, peace and quiet, uninterrupted time to make piston assemblies together. I've been looking forward to this, and just wanted to take your time, don't be distracted. And instructions are on all the piston rings here. Talked about first, second, third, fourth groove. You saw me wash the pistons there. I just want to make sure there's no contamination on there. These particular rings are Hastings. Top ring, second ring, oil scraper ring, and then the oil ring groove, they're calling it. That's the fourth groove. I got some piston ring pliers here. There's no markings on these. They can go on either way, according to the packing. So, start over on this side over here, work that into the groove. Apparently it's okay to twist these on, but not the cast ones. These particular Hastings rings I have do have a dot on the top side here. They want that at the top. This is the second ring. First ring has no marks. It can go in either direction. Talk about this snap ring for a second here. Alright guys, this is an edited insert into the video because I made a mistake earlier and I'm re-editing the video and putting in the proper information. The snap ring, I talked about the square edge as seen here, or the rounded edge seen here. This rounded beveled edge is to go in towards the piston pin. I got it wrong. So I'm taking my pistons back out and reinserting the snap rings so they're correct. I gotta say thank you and reach out to one of my subscribers, Steve, who pointed out I got it wrong. I looked up some information online, and the way I read it was a mistake. I interpreted it incorrectly, so here we go, let's do it right. I just got a little container here of engine oil. I'm not gonna put that engine assembly lube on this pin. I just wanna keep it away from my piston rings. I read that stuff is super slippery and can actually cause seating problems with piston rings. So we're going to keep that away from the top end. Put a little bit in there too, why not, eh? Number 6, yeah, let's start with number 6. I'm just going to align my rings so they're not on top of each other. The gaps are on opposite sides on the 2 top compression rings. One facing forward, one facing back, opposite 90 degrees to the ring, to the pin. Let's see what this does. Feels pretty good. I did not mention it, but I did already check my end gap, all the end grooves of my piston rings, the end gap there. I checked them all. They're all within spec. I'm happy with that. Another good little tool to have is a conrod vise. My rods came back from the machine shop with the bolts pretty tight, and you don't want to tweak the rod and twist it. So my friend Eric and I worked together, and thanks to his machine shop and his skills. I did actually use this, and I didn't record it, but I did check my bearing clearance. I had a bearing in there, and I torqued it down. I used my dowel bore gauge to measure the clearance, and I compared it to my crank throw, my rod throw there, and I got about 2 thou bearing clearance, as from what I can tell. But I am going to check it again with plastic gauge after I torque it down here and spin the engine over, get them all on, all torqued down, see how it feels. Then I'm going to measure some clearances with plastic gauge as well. I'm just not super comfortable with my skills measuring exactly to say that I'm perfect measuring the clearances with my dowel bore gauge and my calipers. I'm just not that comfortable. I'm not that good. It's pretty tight tolerances there, 2 thou. So I'm gonna use plastic gauge and do it. I trust that more than I trust my measuring skills. Oil spray hole and the number on the con rod goes towards the valves. So you got the number on it here, number 6. Again, it goes towards the valve side. The 2 locating little clips here are together on the same side. What's your torque to 45 foot-pounds each one? Feels good. Just like to do that before I crank it down. Feels like I can feel any binding or anything in there. That feels good. My torque wrench set to 45. Still feels good. All right, we're gonna do that 6 times. So just to confirm a couple things here, my connecting rods are stamped 6 and 6. Make sure the numbers match. You keep the cap connected to the rod. And the oil spray hole is right in here, right in that area, and it is pointing towards the camshaft. So when oil squirts out of it, it's gonna be hitting the camshaft there. So you want that on the side of the valves. See, my valves are on this side of the block. My numbers are on that side. My oil hole is right down in there. Don't think you can see it, but it's there. We've got 4 pistons and connecting rods in. I'm just gonna try and turn it over. Notice it's getting a little bit more resistance as I install more pistons, of course, but when I twist it here with the breaker bar, it's smooth. Feels good. 2 more to go. I like how that moves. It's exciting. Rebuilding your own engine. I want to show you guys these bearings. I found these on eBay and they're 1 thou. So my crank was actually in really good shape, as I mentioned before, and I just wanted to just polish it. So I polished it down 1 thou at the machine shop, and found these bearings on eBay, and they're original from, I don't know, I'm thinking the 50s or 60s, just on the text and the writing and the fonts here. Printed in US of A, made in the US of A. McCoy Norris. Cool. He's been sitting around a long time waiting for me to put him to use. polish those up. Clean rag and some brake clean. I think it's worth reviewing again. I want to make sure I get the point across here. That hole in the end of the conrod throw. This is a bearing surface for the crank here. There's an oil hole drilled in it. That hole is drilled on a 45-degree angle this way. It's called rifle drilling, and it goes on a 45-degree angle into the main bearing. In the center of the main bearing, there's a groove. Oil pressure comes from, this is the oil gallery along the side of the block here. Got oil plugs in it here and here. Got to get another couple down here. That oil pressure gets fed into the main bearing, comes out of the main bearing on a 45-degree angle, and comes out that hole there. Then it hits the bearing surface. I don't have a bearing in here, but there's a hole drilled in that. That allows the oil to squirt out that little hole right there. That hole is directed at the camshaft. Down there you can see it. And that's under pressure, like 40 pounds or so, and it's squirting out of there and lubricating the camshaft. So it's important that the little hole in the bearing lines up with that hole right there. That's number 6. Well, it's actually rod and piston number 5, but it's the 6th one I put in. They're all in. I ended up going like 1 and 6, 2 and 4, 5 and 2, just to match the throws in the crank. They were centered and ready to go. A couple of little tips from my experience just doing that is pay attention that your oil hole courses towards the camshaft on every install. Stop and look at that. Make sure the number on your cap is on the same side as on the rod. They're on the camshaft side as well. They're all identical now. They're all torqued down. And it's turning nicely. I guess the next thing for me is check bearing clearances next. I want to reconfirm that those are correct. We got valves opening and closing, pistons going up and down. It's exciting stuff. Man, that looks good. You know, I was thinking the other day, the last time I rebuilt a car engine, I think I was 18 or 19 or something like that. I've rebuilt other engines, you know, Sea-Doos, dirt bikes, a lot of dirt biking over the years. Worked on snowmobiles and stuff, but this is the first time I've done a car engine since I was a kid. That's fun. Really rewarding. I hope you guys are maybe entertained by this at least. I'm not getting all the technical details out here, but I'm sure having fun. I'm gonna just put this in the freezer. And put that in the oven. And I got it. There's the ridge is off. Looks good. The seal surface area is up here. Just be careful you don't scratch it. That ridge was a little harder to get off than I thought, but it could be likely because this lip was in my way and I couldn't quite get in there with a pair of pliers, but I'm happy with it. It's ready to go back in the car. So that was a major step there, completed today. It took me about 2 hours. I took my time, had the radio on there, and made the video, so that caused delays, but I think a guy could probably put all those rings together and install everything in an hour, hour and a half if he was in a hurry. Maybe take your time. You're not, if you're a mechanic like me, you're just having fun doing it as a hobby. Just enjoy the process. The Slick Lube, Ultra Slick Engine Lube, Permatex. Didn't use much, maybe just over a quarter of a bottle. Goes a long ways. Someone's going to ask me, I know they are, what size is the nut on the end of the crank? I used 1 3/4. It's a little bit big. It's the closest I had. It worked. It's probably good enough. You could go down a size from there, I think. Anyways, well, thanks for following along. I think we're going to call that a wrap, maybe, for now. And it's been a while since I had a video out, so I'll upload this one, and this week after work I'll start checking bearing clearances, get back on that front end, get it polished up. I got to go see my friend with the press again. The seal in the front cover. I don't think I want to drive that in there at home myself. I think I'm going to push that in, have my buddy push that in with his press. We'll put a piece of pipe on it and push that in. And we can get the front cover on. I haven't painted it yet because I'm going to wait until everything's assembled, close everything up, and then I'm going to paint it after that with high temperature heat paint. Alright guys, thanks for watching once again. Appreciate it. If you like what you see, please subscribe, hit like. I would appreciate that. Thanks for all your support and following along. Have a good one.